The Jedi loyally served the Republic before and throughout the Clone Wars against the rising Separatist tide, but what would have happened if the Jedi instead allied themselves with the CIS? Now, this is quite difficult, as since the CIS was secretly controlled by the Sith, the idea that the Jedi would work alongside them is very unlikely. For this reason, we're gonna say that the Sith are very secretive about Dooku. Perhaps not even openly having him as a Sith Lord, instead just pretending to be a Jedi who abandoned the Order, as the Jedi would never work alongside a Sith. Now, for the Jedi joining the CIS, I believe it would actually make quite a lot of sense. The Jedi were supposed to defend the peace and the people. Therefore, when a world decides that they didn't want to be part of the Republic anymore, the Jedi should have had respect for this. Instead, they chose to act as Republican forces. This is likely due to the backing and manipulation of big corporations and the mysterious Sith they encountered on Naboo, so they didn't trust the CIS. But for this video, we're going to be saying that the Jedi believe it's their job to defend the people's right to leave the Republic and choose to support them. So we're going to say that the Battle of Geonosis goes the way it does in our timeline. However, when Yoda confronts Dooku, he convinces the Jedi that they're doing wrong. Yoda allows him to leave and returns to the Jedi Temple. Here, the Council decide that they should not be helping the Republic. Now, straight away, they're going to be forced to leave Coruscant, and quickly. They would likely be arrested as Separatists, so they're going to have to head to CIS space and pledge the forces of the Jedi to helping them ensure liberty for those worlds. So, what's going to happen? Well, the war's going to go on as it did in our timeline. However, there are going to be some colossal changes. The Republic, without the leadership of the Jedi generals, will have to rely purely on senior military staff such as Yularen and clone commanders. And this is going to be far less effective. Remember, clone commanders, although deadly, often learn a great deal from their Jedi supervisors, particularly how to prioritize clone lives and attack indirectly. For this reason, the clone army is probably going to be far less effective. They would probably be attacking in a similar manner to how they did during the first Battle of Geonosis, which is more of an upfront military attack, and this is going to mean far higher casualties and a far greater need for clones. Meanwhile, on the CIS's side, the Jedi and droid army would likely struggle to work in unison. This is due to the limited droid brains and cheap engineering of B1 and B2 battle droids, as they would struggle to comprehend and keep up with the Jedi's tactics. For this reason, I believe to make full use of their new Jedi allies, the CIS would need to rely more on expensive and capable battle droids such as commandos, as they would be far more effective with the Jedi. They're far smarter, better trained to use more technology, and far more maneuverable and durable. The Jedi can't fight how the CIS fought, so therefore B1s and B2s working with Jedis pretty pointless. Now, the war itself is likely going to be going in a very different direction. The clones would probably be far more tenacious. Commanders would be less empathetic towards their men, and casualties would be going through the roof. Meanwhile, the demand for new units would also greatly increase, so the clone army would be far larger than it was in our timeline. Altogether, the Jedi, I don't believe, would fare very well in this conflict. They wouldn't just be fighting droids, but actual living beings, and even if these were just clones, this would still likely take a toll on the Order itself, causing a divide, with many of the Jedi giving into aspects of the dark side after their traumatic time in the war and all of the killing. There would be others who believed that the scale in which they were taking life was sheerly wrong and against the Jedi Code, which it was. One thing that is for sure is that the Jedi, although divided, would probably be far more difficult to defeat than in our timeline. I don't believe that they would ever trust the droids nor their separatist leaders who control them. For this reason, when the time came for the CIS to end the Jedi in an Order 66-esque command, the Jedi would probably be quite well prepared. Despite this, overall the damage would still have been done. Once Sidious came around to proclaiming the rise of his new order, the Jedi would be villainified by much of the galaxy as murderers and warmongers. After all, seeing them butcher countless clones, even if it was in the interests of protecting Separatists and peace and liberty, would likely be far too much for the galaxy's people to stomach. For this reason, I believe, honestly, Sidious would likely benefit from the Jedi joining the CIS. He wants to reform the Republic, the Separatists are going anyways. The Jedi's reputation would be tarnished, and once he dealt with the Separatists betraying them and disabling the droid armies, the Jedi would be left without any allies. Even their most staunch supporters would struggle to excuse the lives that they'd taken. But what do you think would happen if the Jedi joined the CIS, and do you believe many Jedi would fall to the dark side? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, please remember to like, share and sub if you did enjoy, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheLawGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. Thanks again for watching, I do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.